Record. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We know that you guys all have a ton to do, I'm sure, but we are trying to bring back our team calls as much as we can, but also be respectful of time and time with your families. So it's always going to be, unless something changes, it's always going to be the first and third Thursday of each month at 8 o'clock. So that's just the way that we have them. So you can always just tentatively put those in your schedule so you have them. You can always listen if you're somewhere, or come into the recording, but I do encourage everyone to do your best to those twice a month. Join us, just because I know Dana and I carve out time, and we run these for you guys, right? As much as we can of anything that we see can be beneficial for you. So having you guys hop on just makes it fun, engaging, exciting, and it's so nice to see everyone's beautiful faces, and not just message threads that are still going to happen. But anyway, so tonight I wanted to, when Dana and I were talking about kind of topics to cover, I think there's a lot of new coaches, but there's also a lot of vet coaches that are in our group right now that maybe haven't been like actively coaching, or maybe taking a step back, but wanting to kind of get back in it, and kind of struggling with where to go in regards to the inviting process, because we can talk all day long about what reel we're going to do, or what post we're going to do, or so on and so forth. But if we're just doing those and we're never going behind the scenes to actually do the call to action of inviting, they're just going to be a post. So one thing I would always recommend in general is anytime you are posting regarding this, like within that post, give that invitation. I had one of my coaches, last year, that she was like, Kelly, I posted every day, all day long, like I was doing great. And she really was. And she never let people know that they could go to her. And 5 of her friends, as a brand new coach, bought it off like online somewhere. Like because they were like, this looks awesome. Like she clearly was showing them that this is like kick ass, and her results were kick ass, but she never actually said, you can come to me, or I'm running this accountability group, or join me starting Monday, or if this is of interest or spoke to you, connect with me, I can help you. Sometimes it just takes those simple things within that post to be able to let people know that you are someone that they could go to. So same thing within your reels, but a post is just a post without an actual call to action, right? So I put a message the other day regarding kind of where conversations are going, because there's so many of you doing amazing with posting. Like you are posting incredible things and content, and you might not believe it, but you are, because they're super natural and super real. And I think that we get to that point, and then sometimes we go, oh God, they just commented. And I'm like, what the heck do I say? And how do I take it off screen to be able to see and actually help them? So we wanted to just do real life scenarios. Like, what are you seeing? And then let's cover it. Let's see kind of how we would all respond. And what's awesome about the team calls is that everyone might have a different take on how they would do it. And you can see kind of what speaks best to you, for you.
Kelly,
and, yeah.
Can I go through real quick just some like basic suggestions, like for maybe the newer coaches that don't really have any kind of like a process with this? I think maybe that would be a good place to start.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Go more into that. So I was reading through some of you guys' comments and things you maybe feel like you're struggling with in terms of conversations. And I think one of the things that's really helped me, and I know it's helped Kelly a lot too, is like finding your own flow, like your own kind of a system of sharing, connecting, engaging, kind of building that relationship, the invite, the getting to know people, the talking about goals, follow up, because then you kind of always know where you're at with people, and you always have conversations going on. So I just wrote out a couple notes that may be helpful to some of you, or good reminders, because I need them too sometimes. But commitment to yourself and sharing your own journey, like being a product of the product, is one of our vital behaviors for a reason. It's really hard for us to feel connected and excited and passionate and engaged if we're not really engaged in our own journey and feeling that like excitement and I'm getting results. And I know for me, Gut Protocol has been like the exact reset button that I needed, with workouts, with nutrition, with just really getting in a consistent routine after a couple months of health stuff. And I know when I feel awesome and I'm sleeping better and I'm energized and I'm like excited and I'm like, oh my God, my shorts look better and my legs are getting stronger. Like, you just can't help but want to share it with everybody. And people notice that. People notice the energy. They're like, oh my God, you look happy. You know, you look really fit. What are you doing? What's your meals always look awesome? What are you eating? Right? People naturally engage more when you are really engaged in your own journey and sharing it from that place versus feeling like, what am I going to talk about today? Like faking it until we make it. Right. So that would be the first thing always, is your commitment to yourself. That's why you started this journey, and probably part of why you became a coach is because you want to share that experience with other people. Right. But sometimes we get, you know, caught up and fall out of that. So just, if you're not feeling committed, like figure out what it is you need to get excited and committed to. If you're doing Gut Protocol, keep kicking ass. But that's the first thing. And then simple, like Kelly and I have talked about this a lot, but connecting with the people that engage with your reels, with your stories, with your posts is a super simple way to make new conversations that are not awkward. Because I don't know about you, but I don't follow people on social media if I'm not interested in what they're sharing, right? You don't ever just go to like some random chick's page and you're like, I don't like her stuff, but I'm just going to sit here and watch it, right? Like, they want to know what you're up to. They're clearly curious or interested, or just kind of like, I wonder what she's up to, or wow, I wish I was motivated like that. If they're following you, they're following for some reason. And our job is to really build that connection to where they know, like, and trust you, so that you can share more about it with them, right? So just a simple connecting. Kelly, I know you do this a lot, but it's just as simple as reaching out and saying like, hey, thanks so much for, you know, loving on my Gut Protocol progress today. Like, I'm really excited about it. I don't know about you, but like, I really needed a reset on my habits. I just really appreciate you giving me support. And if you're ever interested in talking about your wellness goals, I'd love to chat. As simple as that. It's not a direct invite. It's not sending them to links of anything. It's not sharing pricing. It's just a connection point and saying like, hey, if you're interested, I'm here for you, right? So you're kind of putting yourself as that expert, as someone they can go to, because even if they're not ready for it now, maybe a month from now, 3 months from now, they're like, I think I really need to make a change. And I remember that girl on Instagram who posts fitness stuff all the time. Like, maybe I should talk to her, right? This business is the consistency over time. Like, it compounds the conversations. They might not sign up this month or next month or even 6 months from now. One of the girls that I helped last month was a girl I've talked to for almost 5 years, literally 5 years, a million conversations. And she was finally ready, right? So connecting, thanking them, starting that conversation and building that relationship. And anytime you see them pop up in your stuff and your stories, just pop in and be like, hey, how are you? You know, like, continue on building that relationship. This is a big one. Always having something to invite to is really important. I know if I don't have like a start date for a group or a program that I'm inviting to, I am way less consistent with inviting, because I'm like, I sit down and I'm like, what am I talking to people about? Where are they going to go if I invite them to something, right? So it doesn't matter what you choose to invite them to, but you have to have something to invite to. You can invite to our May 9th, you know, kickoff of Gut Protocol. You could start a challenge group with another coach. If there's a program you want to do a 3-day refresh or an ultimate reset or whatever it is, pick something that you are going to run a group for so that you know what you're inviting to, right? And it's always a good time to take advantage of something like Gut Protocol that is new, that can meet a specific need of a different bracket of people than just, say, fitness or 2B mindset, right? So always having something to invite to. Just keep in mind, like, this business is really, it's all about relationships and building trust with people, the know, like, and trust. So just think about like when you're having conversations and talking to people, how do you like to be talked to? If say somebody writes you and they're like, hey, you know, I have this makeup, it's non-toxic and blah, blah, blah. Like, are you interested in learning more? I know for me, if somebody's pushing and sends me a sales link or something like that, I don't like that, right? Like that's not what I don't respond to that. I like when people are like, what current products are you using? Or like, have you ever looked at the ingredients? You know, would you be interested in learning more about why this is different? Same thing for us, right? You're just having conversations with people that could potentially end up being your best friends or someone's life that you change, right? So it doesn't need to be weird or awkward. This was one I think I wrote down, Priscilla, when I was looking at your conversation with, I think it was a mom you were talking to, and I can't remember exactly what it was now, but I wrote this down, the importance of asking questions. I think it was she reached out to you and said she was getting a detox or something like that. And there might have been another one that said she was just gonna like start walking to try and see if she could get motivated. Was that yours?
Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're both moms. One, she was saying like, I've been indulging too much. I see you're doing healthy eating. And so I was like, yeah, I'm doing this, blah, 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 blah. And and then I sent her like the PDF.
Uh-huh.
And I did that because like I did all the questions before, like maybe 6 months ago, and we got as far as like doing a share cart, and she just wanted like just fitness, not nutrition at that point.
Mhm.
And then like she never followed through, but she started a new business. I was like, well, I guess she's busy. And then I felt a little awkward because then we started just like kind of hanging out more. So I didn't want her to feel like any kind of way. So this time around, she was actually interested in like, what are you doing to like lose weight? And I didn't really like ask the questions. I just sent her like the PDF. And then that's when she was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna do a detox and I'll let you know how it goes. And then the other one was she has a new baby, 2 months old. And she was like, it's really hard for me to drop weight this time around. I see that you're like on a healthy eating program. Like, what are you doing? So that I tried to, like acknowledge, yeah, it's hard for me too, the second time around with the baby. I'm doing this thing, and I can't remember if I sent her like the PDF before I was like, what are you currently doing? Which probably my first thing should have been like, what are you currently doing? But I like just, this is what I'm doing, and here's the PDF.
Yeah.
And then I got like just the thumbs up from her, and I was like, ooh, she just gave me an emoji, and that's it. So
I had written down just like, I mean, obvious what you did, asking questions from the jump is like the best thing to do. You always like want to approach the conversation in the way of not like what I can offer you or what's currently coming up, but figuring out like what they need the most, right? Some people need the fitness. Some people desperately need nutrition. Some people need like a hard reset button with something like gut protocol, right? They have bloating, they have gas, they have acne, like they have no energy would be something that might be for them. So I think asking those questions is always really important to make sure that we're offering what it is they need, because when it is what they need, then it's easier for us to paint the picture of why that's going to be such a game changer for them, right? So when I have a situation like someone comes back to me that I've talked to 6 months ago, say, and is like, what is this gut protocol? And I like look back and I think like, okay, she wants to lose 30 pounds. She struggles to ever get to the gym. She's an emotional eater, whatever. I might just say like, are your goals the same as the last time we talked, or have things changed a little bit? Like, is there something, different than the last time we chatted, because I just want to make sure that if I'm recommending it to you, it's what I think is going to be the best fit for you. And I say that because I think it ensures that you don't know what happened in somebody's like 6 months to a year. It could have been like crazy stressful and they've been overeating or like whatever. There's so many different scenarios. But I think it also like really shows people we truly care to know what it is that they're struggling with and how this could benefit them, and then sending the PDF. And I like what you said. I think that's important too, to say like, oh, what kind of detox are you doing? Like, what's it all about? Because sometimes that's a way to like offer and educate, like why something like a juice cleanse may not be the right thing, I just always revert back to asking questions. I know for me, that gets to engage in the conversation. People want to talk about themselves. They want to tell you what they're struggling with. And then it's a whole lot easier from there to be like, I think Gut Protocol would be amazing for you because you're struggling with sugar cravings, energy, right? Gives us like a more, I don't know, like a direct way to say exactly why this would be the right fit for them. And then the last thing I wanted to mention with like, that goes along with asking questions, is it makes follow-ups so much easier. If like, say this girl who wants to lose postpartum weight, maybe the best solution for her right now would just be to start with nutrition. Maybe she's not ready to work out. Maybe she's too tired to, but with losing weight, maybe something like 2B Mindset or Ultimate Portion Fix would be a great place for her to start, just to like start having some progress, getting some more energy, and then she'll be ready for something down the road. But when we talk to people about their goals and we know specifically what they struggle with, it's so much easier to do follow-ups, because you can, come back and say, hey, I remember a couple months ago, we talked about that you wanted to lose 30 pounds and you're struggling with sugar cravings and drinking tons of caffeine. Is that still something you're struggling with? If so, I have this group starting May 9th that I think would be really phenomenal for you based on what we talked about, right? And again, it gives that like personal connection that you are inviting them for a specific reason to something that's up and coming. And that's it. Does that help, Priscilla?
Yeah, it does. And like, initially I wasn't, my mind always goes to like, give them all the options. Like, yeah, I'm doing this, but if that doesn't work, we have these two other, I always just talk too much, give too much information up front, rather than like, because I guess I always feel like I'm stalling their question. But really, I guess addressing like, I'd love to help you. I just want to learn a little bit more about where you're at right now. So I'm just trying to figure out how to rebound from at least the one that's the new mom. The other one already told me like, I'm going to do this detox, I'll get back to you. But the one that just kind of was like, saw the information and then didn't say much more about it. Like,
well, I would say this: when people don't respond, don't assume it's because they're not interested. A lot of times people are busy, like they're at work, they're carting kids around, they've got kids screaming, it's dinner time, it's bedtime, they forget, right? So I always just go back to those conversations and I just say like, hey, I did a bunch of this today with follow-ups. Hey, I'm not sure if you saw the message that I sent you earlier this week. I just wanted to pop back in and see if you had any questions about what I sent over to you. Or it could be as simple as you're like, I was thinking about how overwhelmed I was as a new mom. I was thinking that like, I would love to get to know more of where you're at right now, so I could see if there's a way I could help you. And maybe starting with something simple like nutrition would be a good place to start and less overwhelming, right?
So ask the questions before I say like, I have a group coming up and think it might help you. Like,
yeah.
Here I am again, like, come
Priscilla,
Yeah, but
also
but they have to know why they're coming.
Yeah.
Is why I say the questions. If you know what they need and you can specifically speak to that when you invite them to that group, you're going to have a lot more people saying yes because they know exactly what they're getting and why it's going to help them with whatever it is they struggle with. Because they don't, we have to think they don't have any connection to a program, a product, or whatever, like we do, where we're like, we know this is going to work for you. It's phenomenal. Just trust me. And they're just kind of like, I don't know what she's talking about. Right. So it helps paint that picture.
have the, and also like, I would encourage you to think about for you, Priscilla, well, anyone, if you
Hold on,
had,
I'm on a call.
I feel like we need to, mute everyone. If you had someone that you were clearly, because she connected with you or whoever it is, it could be anyone that was obviously struggling. If you had someone that was like, okay, like you could do this, or you could do this, or then there's this, or you spoke to someone that was like, I think that this is going to be what's going to help you because I feel like this is how this is going to fix that problem. And you have someone that's like, concrete, like I got this for you, you're probably going to go with the person that is really like knows like where their thing is. Like I've had so many people I feel like it's like probably like 9 out of 10 that will always try to backtrack and go straight to just Beachbody On Demand and not a challenge pack. And I think it's, to be really honest, it's most people. And then what I end up doing is talking to them, and I go behind the scenes and say to them, look, I will help you with anything that you want if you're going to get started to kind of get closer to X goal, whatever they've shared with me. But I need to tell you, I've been doing this for a really long time, and I see the women in my groups that have seen amazing success and those that are still struggling. And I'm going to let you know, all of the things I share on social media and you see me share is because I'm doing the program the way it's designed. It's nutrition, it's fitness, and it's the like supplements of whatever I'm using, Shakeology, so on and so forth. I'm like, if I only picked one of those out of 3 and expected the same results, I'd be doing this for a lot longer period of time. And to be really honest, I probably would have given up because I wouldn't have seen the results. I know you want to have this 20-pound weight loss that you just had from having the baby. And I know you can get this, but I'm going to encourage you to at least try the program the way it was designed, because I know you can get there. If you can give yourself 2 months, you will see big results. And I always say 2 months, because I do want people to know that first month is a lot of like, what the hell is this? Like, I know for me, I didn't even look at those damn containers. This is speaking for myself. I hated Shakeology. I took those containers and put them in a closet. I was the worst challenger there ever was. I hated everything except 21 Day Fix. So I will tell some people, if you got to start with just doing fitness, like do fitness. And then when you feel good, then you got that down, go to the next thing. But I need to speak to people about saying, like, I started just doing the fitness program and I felt wonderful, but I didn't have any results. I didn't have results. Then I finally decided to get my head out of my ass and fucking figure out the Shakeology thing and figure out these container things. And then I was like, oh my God, my results are following. But this is where I will literally say that to people, like, just like that. And then people are like, okay, this makes more sense. I'm like, she's got it. And that's where it's just being real. But I'm very strong of saying I will do whatever, but I cannot promise you're going to get the results that the other women in the group are getting if you're really not doing the program the way it is designed. And then quite often when they see there's a difference of $59 and they're getting everything, and then they're going to try, they'll often then say, okay, but I could, if I'm not vibing with it in a couple of months, I can stop. I'm like, you can stop at any time you want. There's no issues. But that's where that confidence piece comes in. You give people too many options and they're lost before they even started. And then they're confused. And then they say, we're all set, because everyone wants a quick fix. No one wants work.
Yeah, I want to add on to that, Kelly. I was thinking the exact same thing, is like, just think about how overwhelming it is when you're like at that place where you're like, oh my gosh, I need to lose weight. I'm not exercising. I'm eating like crap. like, you know, right in your head that like you need a change, or at least I would say like raise your hand if you felt like that in some way where you're like, oh my God, where do I even start? Right? There's so many things. It's like you see gym ads and you see like Peloton commercials and you see this and you see that and this diet and this app and this tracking, and people are like, where on earth do I even start? Right. And I think that's the beautiful thing with what we offer and like what we can provide as coaches is like, we are not like an app they download where it's not something personal. We're not where it's just like one size fits all. I always tell people that I'm like, this is not a one size fits all journey. What I need and what I do might not be what you need for your goals. Right. And when I ask you questions and I get to talk to you about things, then I can best suggest what I think would be a good fit for you. And I think like Kelly's saying, it kind of takes away that overwhelm, and it's saying like, here's option 1 and here's option 2. Like, I'm going to suggest the gut protocol along with this low impact fitness program, since you haven't exercised in a long time and it's 4 days a week, it's totally doable. Or I'm going to suggest 2B Mindset and a Beachbody On Demand membership. And this is how they're different, you know, whatever. But I think it kind of eliminates that overwhelm. And then when I send them the information about it, I just say, here's a little video that you can learn more about it. Let me know if you have any questions, right? And it's kind of putting you, like Kelly's saying, like as the expert, as like, let me do the hard work of figuring out what it is you need for you. And all you have to do is like, be open-minded, be ready for change, trust me enough to start, right? And it eliminates all that like worry, obsessing, overthinking, like, what should I be doing? I don't know. And like Kelly's saying, I know this will get you results, and I know you will feel incredible if you actually like give yourself the chance and commit and just see what happens, right? But I think it gets rid of that overwhelm that people are, that's the reason they're not making a change in the first place. Most people.
They want the quick detox, right? They want the person that's just going to be like, okay, it's going to magically go away. And it's not. We all know that. But people don't, I mean, I go back to, I wanted that. I wanted that. I didn't want to work. I hated it. I cried during most of my workouts, like that first month. I threw DVDs across the damn room. I was so mad. Like I actually hated to exercise. I actually don't know if I love it now, but I still like do it because it's good for me. But it's like, these are the things that you speak to, because we were all that person that wanted that quick fix thing. We all didn't love to meal prep, most likely, and like do all the things, except Dana. Dana's like super meal prep guru. I don't even know where that came, but awesome. I'm not. And, we just got to speak to that. But I think that's where you ask the questions initially, and then you just speak to that. I know that this program would help you get this. You know, once again, you can stop at any time. And I always tell people that you can stop at any time. You're not locked in. I thought I was going to quit, you know, a month or two in, and I'm like, and look at me, I'm here 7 years later. Clearly something worked, you know, like I'm still showing up in your feeds, even if you want to watch me or not. Like I literally am joking around to them all the time. And I'm like, but I'm going to still do it because one person, my coach, posted about this. And if she didn't, I don't know where I'd be. You know, I'm like, and I just go back to like, I don't care. Like I even posted in my results for Gut Protocol. I don't care. I didn't even weigh myself, guys. And that's like the most horrible coach thing to do. I don't care what the damn coach like scale says to me anymore. I've gotten past that point. I used to, I was fixated, but now I'm like, I don't even care what it says, because when I feel great, because I'm like fueling my body the way that I should, I'm exercising the way I should, like I feel amazing. I could care less what it says because I'm feeling good. And I think that's the biggest thing now, is for me to share to people, like, this is way more than that. This is for you, like long term. Like this is for you, like being active with your children. This is for you to be like, not for nothing, we're not getting any younger. Cardiovascular disease is here, man. Like, how are we going to prevent those things? Like, what are we doing? And that's where you get to the core of like, why are they doing this? And then we start to speak to that and figure it out, because they'll never say yes initially. And I know I wrote Laura this week, And I said, you need to go live, my friend, and you need to share what you're doing with everyone in Empowered Elite to say, how did you just started coaching last month, share what you're doing. You immediately, girlfriend, I'm calling you out because I think this is normal. No, that I'm calling you out because this is normal. She was like, basically I can't connect with anyone, basically going into like the spiral of going down. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, you've been coaching for a month. You hit Success Starters your first month. You've already helped 2 people this month. You've helped 5 people within the first month of coaching. I haven't done that. Like most people on our team haven't done it. You look at people who've been here for 1,000,001 years. I'm like, you have not done nothing. You have done amazing stuff and you've helped 5 freaking people. And I'm like, so get out of your like spiral down and show that something's working. And you need to look at like what you're doing and you need to continue that. She's like, but a lot of people are like either not getting back to me or now they're like stalling. And I'm like, every single one of us have people that do that. But the problem is we just don't give up. And those people will say yes sometimes, eventually, but they want to see that you're still doing this. So have kick-ass results with gut protocol, share it at the end and continue to invite and let them know you're still here. But we all have like these things, like we always think we're not doing well. And that's normal. That's normal. It's like any of your jobs. We all have those moments, right?
Thank you for
You're doing
saying that.
amazing. No, I was like, what the hell? I'm like, girlfriend,
Wow.
they gave 6 months for Success Starters. I'm like, you basically have 1 person away from locking in 2 months in.
I think that's why I'm so stressed out. And honestly, like I'm writing that line between like, I need to make sure that I'm putting other people in front of like what I want and like focusing more on like, okay, it's just not their time or it's just like, it's not about me, but I want it to be about me. And that's why I'm stressed out about it because I'm like, I really need my summit ticket
right?
to be taken care of. So,
And you're right, 100%. If you approach it with the attitude of like, how can I help you? How can I serve you? Like you will find those people and you will hit that goal and it will feel that much better because you know it was done from like
Yeah.
a genuine place.
I think I'm writing on that borderline of like, let me help you, you know, like.
And when you get that, you gotta
Just
like
do it.
throw your
Yeah.
phone in the corner for a day, right? You
Yeah.
gotta like pull it back because everyone knows that. So just take
Yeah.
a seat there, walk away, because that's not gonna do
Yeah.
anything.
No, I know.
Walk away,
Freaks people out.
put your phone down and come back 24 hours later. You know, like reassess, breathe, go do stuff with your family, like go do your thing, like fuel your cup and come back, you know, once again, because they all see that. Those are all the messages that we all get, right? Those
Yeah,
messages
oh,
are
for
like,
sure.
but there's still so much time in the month. Like, that's why I'm like, there's no panic. And you know what? Or if something didn't happen this month,
Exactly. I have to be okay with it not happening. I'm getting there, but yeah, it's a process.
you're rocking it, and everything that you're sharing, this is big out of your comfort zone, and you're like really going for it. And if it doesn't happen this month, it'll happen the next month. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I wasn't a success starter. There's a lot of us that weren't success starters. Like, it is what it is. You can still go to the summit. Doesn't matter.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
The bottom line is you can still be there.
Thank
And
you for
that's
my
a
therapy
I feel
session.
like that lesson in and of itself is like a constant process in this business. It's like set a goal, push for a goal. Sometimes you're going to crush it. Sometimes you're not, but it doesn't deter you from like continuing on, staying the course, pushing for new goals, like showing up for things, getting to events. You know, one thing is not going to make or break you. It will teach you lessons that help you moving forward though.
Mhm.
I wanted to mention, whatever we were just talking about a minute ago, the feel, felt, found approach. I don't feel like we've talked about this in a while, but it's like such a game changer in conversations like that with the girl who said like, I'm just going to try and start walking and see if I can get myself motivated. Right. And it can be like, I know how you feel. I was really overwhelmed when I thought about starting my journey. But what I found is with a community of support, accountability, and a simple plan, it made it so much easier for me to show up. And motivation comes and goes like anything else, right? We have to be like, make that decision to be committed to the process of change. But using that feel, felt, found, you can use it for anything. Like, yeah, I wasn't a shake person either. I know how you feel. I've totally felt the same way. I thought protein shakes were disgusting, but what I found is this is totally different. It's like how I know I'm getting everything my body needs in a day, even if I'm like on the run and eat my kids' snacks or whatever, right? It ensures that I'm getting what I need to like function and feel my best. It can be in terms of fitness. Like I really struggled with being consistent. So I know how you feel, but what I found is when I have a workout calendar that tells me exactly what to do and there's no guesswork and it's 30 minutes and I can walk to my living room and hit play instead of getting dressed, driving to the gym, like whatever. I found it so much easier to stay consistent and I loved how I started to see results and have more energy and feel better in my clothes. And it just kept me going like that. Those 3 F words, not the favorite one, but they work really, really well in terms of like any kind of objection or I'm not sure, I don't think that's for me. It's always worth it because it acknowledges that you understand how they feel and that maybe you can connect to how they feel, but you're sharing your positive experience that helps them see things in a different light.
And that's where like the price objection, because I know that can come up for some people, the price objection of like Shakeology more specifically. When people tell me like, well, I just can't pay that. They might be right? Some people, we don't know where they're at. You have to understand where people are at, but I won't end it there. I will always kind of go back to like, I completely understand. I was in the same boat. Like I felt like I didn't see how this would truly help me when I was thinking about that. And so I couldn't see the value in it. So to me, it just seemed like a lot of money. But I can tell you, since I've been having it, I really find in general, number one, like my cravings for what I typically would eat, like snack time and like, at work and so on and so forth, has gone down dramatically. I'm not going to the vending machine. Like I'm not eating my kids extra foods. Like I'm saving kind of there. So my volume of food is down a lot. I have so much more energy, which let's face it, us moms like could use all the energy in the world. I'm like, and I honestly feel like that's a big reason why for me, I speak to blood sugars. I'm like, my blood sugars are really stable because when I do have it, it's easy. I can figure it out quickly and what to do for insulin, but I also not eating all this stuff, which therefore is helping my blood sugars. And I'm like, I just speak to that. And then I'm like, so when I really broke it down and saw that it was basically like $3.50 or whatever a meal, I spend way more than that on other stuff. So like, I get you. I hear where you're coming from, but until I tried it, I didn't really get it. And it's worth trying to see if you might find the same benefits. So that's, and then the same thing for other just price stuff. Oh, I can't pay for that challenge pack. And just speak like, what do you, this is something your whole family could do. Like your husband could do it. Your children has children's programs. Like the whole family could utilize fitness. You have all the nutrition support. If you're doing it, your family, like you start kind of speaking some of those, but being like, if it doesn't work, totally get it. If you ever are, ready or you feel like it's a better time for you, just know I'm always here. Would love to have you in our groups anytime you feel like you're ready. Like I always am going to close things out with that because people might then turn around and say, you're right. Or they might say they're not ready. And then in 6 months when they are ready, then they'll realize. But you never get the price objections, the shake objections. Nice thing nowadays, we have a lot of different options. People don't have to. If they really don't want to, they don't have to do Shakeology if they're really against it, and then send them a couple samples of it and maybe they can try it, and they might change their mind at that point, especially if you give them some of your favorite recipes and they have an idea of like what to have. That is another way to kind of do that. Dana, I know we're getting close on time frame, but trying to look fast. I know we're covering like a bunch of random things.
Yeah. Is there any questions that you guys have specifically that we didn't cover? Do you want to type it in the chat or just shout it out?
Yeah, shout it. I'm trying to go back there.
Kelly, I think you missed our talk about you not liking veggies.
Oh, I suck. You guys, I'm telling you, I was the worst coach. I didn't do anything. I mean, I did all the things what not to do. So that's why I feel like I super am great speaking to that. Because if I were me, I would have fired myself. I would have fired myself was the thing. I feel like you suck at this.
And look at you now.
I'm still here, babe. Still here, babes. All right, I'm just like, that was the walking. I'm just trying to go through. Oh, Heather, there was one that says, so ideally just want to eat more protein, heavy with fruits and vegetables and no nasty snacks or carbs, no sugary crap. I'm not super great with shakes, but I'm willing to hear you on the perks and the flavors. So that was one of that.
I would love to chime in on this one.
Do it.
I love when I get this one because I think it's been so ingrained in our culture that it's like protein bars, protein this, protein shakes, protein everything. And I always like to tell people we are not protein deficient. The majority of us eat plenty of protein in whatever it is you are eating a day, whether it's decent food or whether it's garbage, right? We are nutrient deficient. And I could go into a whole spiel about how food is grown and how it's processed and how it's sprayed and all this crap and how there's literally no nutritional content and a lot of the things that people are eating. And so I would just be curious of like, why is it that you think you need more protein? Are you trying to like build muscle or hit a specific goal with lifting weights? Because what I typically find is that we're not lacking in protein, we're lacking in nutrition, and that's what makes Shakeology different than a protein shake.
Another one, let me just see here. And I do like to say Shakeology is just basically the same amount of protein as like a plain Greek yogurt. It's actually like the same amount, guys. Like it's not like this heavy protein base thing. It's actually not. You can get it more in other sources, and it's because it's not meant to be. It's meant to be a balance, and that's where that nutrient piece of it is. It's not a protein shake. There happens to be in it, but it's not meant to be that. So it's not like a bodybuilding like type shake. So it's nothing like that at all. This one says, I'm old and fat. I want badly to be healthier and lose weight. It's hard, and I think it's a lack of hormones. So I'm gonna tell you, my dad just installed a bar, like a bar blend bar, my dad. And he's 66 in his apartment last weekend. And he sent me a picture that said, what's the right height for my waist? And I'm like, holy shit, did I ever think that this was gonna happen? My dad, I've been saying forever, do bar. My dad is 60 something. My stepmom is 60. We have actually a fair amount of women in our group that were like moms of the other girls that are in our group that were probably like in their 60s as well. Let's face it, as you get older, none of that's changing. It's only going to get worse, right? Our hormones are going to get worse. Like our way to lose weight is going to get worse. Like that's just natural progression of getting older. I know that's me. And the bottom line is it has nothing to do with that. Be like, we need to get you into some sort of, can you hear these kids? Oh my God, my house is thumping right now above me. Like we need to get you in some of those healthier habits that you feel like you can do to be able to help some of those, because we know as we get older, like there's a lot of stuff that is going to be thrown out health-wise, but if we're able to kind of be our strongest selves and start getting that routine of exercise and fueling our bodies the way that it should, like it's going to reduce and at least delay that. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to get any older any faster. Like start speaking to the fact that it's osteoporosis, it's diabetes, it's obesity, it's cardiovascular disease. All those things ramp up as we get older. So yes, it might be that they want to be there to kind of lose the weight, but really what they're saying is in general, they just want to be healthier. So just be like, their program's meant for every ability. And that's where you're going to kind of speak to the nutrition programs. They have these two awesome options. And then maybe they're going to be someone that does a UV2, a 21-day fixed modified, like my dad, bar blend, like loving it. Those are all, there's so many options. Gut protocol, not even gut protocol, 4 weeks for everybody, like there's so many great options for them, but you just gotta let them know. Cause I think they see maybe some of our workouts and sometimes they might think like, I can't do that. And you got to speak to them and just say, there is literally something like for everyone, and speak to it's more about the long-term health and then trying to keep you kind of, going as we age gracefully.
I just would add to this too, when specific things like that are brought up, is like, have you had, testing done where that's like an actual factor? Because I think sometimes certain things are kind of assumed, right? And I always just say, like, it's great to have blood work run for your thyroid or hormones. Like, I personally did that because it can be a factor in things. But I think that sometimes it's best to kind of say, like, leave that to the professionals. But what I do know is everyone can benefit from healthier habits. I can't necessarily help you with that specifically, but I absolutely can help you, like, eat better, feel better, sleep better, because all of those things impact your health, your overall health, including hormonal health. So the best thing is to start with basic daily healthy choices, right? So that we're being proactive about things versus reactive when problems happen.
Thanks, but unfortunately, right now, I can't afford it. My daughter's getting married Labor Day weekend and having a shower in the middle of July, and the flights are on real price. It's going to cost me at least $1,000 for both flights. So obviously, price objections, right? And once again, sometimes for people, it's very valid. Like, we can't fault them if they can't do those things. I might say something along those lines of, oh my gosh, such exciting times, like, but so crazy for you. When, like, whatever it is, like, if I don't know specifically, I'll be like, when is the big day? Or like, where is the big day? Or like, so on and so forth. And just be like, well, if you need, I'm always here for you whenever you're ready. And if you need anything to help you, in general, get into a healthier routine, exercise to kind of get ready for all those big days, like, just let me know. Like, I'm happy to, it's kind of speaking to what she's doing. Maybe she does want to kind of get, to be a little bit healthier when it comes, I don't know this person, so she could already be like, amazing. But I might speak to the events of being like, in general, like, if you want something to be able to do to help you kind of feel your best, for all of that, then, let me know, type of thing. But
Yeah. And also, if it's too overwhelming, like, I would love to chat with you when it's over and it's a better time for you. That's always a great thing too, is like to mention that you will check back in on them and see if it's a better time too.
And one other person did send me, it said, hey, just want to reach out and see if any interest in joining my accountability group as a coach or a challenger. I'm sure you're seeing clearly they're friends some way. She's like, I'm sure you see me posting all my annoying workout videos, like smiley face. So clearly it's friend. And the person wrote back and say, what would I have to do? So it's just point blank. And that's where I would then go back with a question. Like, I would be like, well, it depends on what your overall goals are. Do you have any specific, fitness or wellness goals that you'd like to be able to achieve, or, or any struggles that you feel are kind of like preventing you from getting to where you want to be? Because that would help me decide kind of what you would need to do to be able to help do that. Because once again, I'm the professional right now. Like, I'm going to tell them based upon their goals what they're going to do to achieve that, and not all of a sudden send them like blanket information, because I know nothing about them at this point. That's where you're always going to go into the questions. Trying to see some other ones.
Is this helpful to go through specific, like, conversations, how we would respond? I feel like we should do this more. I feel like it's honestly more helpful than it is just to, like, share how we do it.
Well, I think what's so hard, guys, is that this business is not, I say this, and I also am like, Kelly, what the hell are you saying? This business isn't hard in regards to what we're supposed to do. But everyone has different takes on like how they do it. And we've all gone through periods of just like ebbs and flows. And it's like any single job we ever do. Any job, ebbs and flows. When I'm a nurse right now, days I walk out and I want to be like, why am I doing this? And then other days I'm like, it was the most amazing day ever. Like, it's every job. But often with coaching, because it's separate, we quickly put that to the back burner because we can, and it's not our like income producing job at that moment. But I think that's where you have to kind of think about like why you want to be coaching and what your goals are. Because for me, it's always been to reduce what I do as a nurse, because I do love it, but it brings a lot that brings a lot of stress, to our family and for me. And I'd like to be able to have the option to have less hours, which thankfully has helped. And I've been able to do that. So it was always like a thought process of like, this is where I'm going to be. This is why I'm doing this. Like, and bottom line, in worst case scenario, I'm a healthier mom for my family. Like, boom, that's the best thing in the world. But when it comes to like what we do, our job is to just show up for ourselves. Like that's the number one thing for us. We have to just commit to ourselves, and we have to be vulnerable and share that. And if you're not sharing it, no one's gonna be there. Like there's not going to be a business, because people don't know that this is an option for them, and they don't know that you can help them do that. And then the next piece is you need to go behind the scenes and invite people. And really it comes down to that. There's so many things with coaching that we can just honestly throw out, because if we're not committed to ourselves and we're not inviting, those are the two biggest things we have to do. So we have to feel comfortable with that inviting process, and that none of us felt that way. I mean, I wish I could go back. Like I did, stockpile pictures of like 21 Day Fix box, like all the things that like doesn't connect to anyone, but you learn what works and what doesn't work. So as you're posting, see what connects with people. Typically it's being real and raw, of like sharing the good, bad, and the ugly, and then like letting people know that. But be that person that you would want to read. Like if you see people that you stop and you read their stories, or you see what's going on, like that's what you want to do. You want to know what the problem is, how to solve this problem, and what you did to kind of get there. And that's what you're kind of doing for people. But there's so much we can do. But if we're not doing committed program, pick something, pick 21 Day Fix and say, I'm going to commit for the next 21 days and share it. Doesn't highly recommend to pick a shorter program and not a really long program at that moment, because then it feels like you can do it and say, for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to show every darn thing and commit to it. Maybe it's, a clean week. You start for 1 week and show them the difference, that you can do. Let's get up, pick something that's short, month or less, and commit to it and share it and invite people to join you, and have a date and have a time. And even if you're not going to, like in our groups, all of our groups are kind of run together. So I have our type 1 group, and I'm saying this because some of our girls are on here. We have type 1 community and another community. There's no start or end time because of the fact it's just ongoing. Doesn't mean you don't have a start and end time. You can show, they don't know anything. Tell them on Monday, this date, I'm starting a 3-week program, and I would love for you to join me because X, Y, and Z, and then like invite them to it. Like, they can be 10 people in that same group and be starting together. Just like, Allie, Ashley, there's a group of them in our group right now that are doing the prep together, and they're like tagging each other like crazy. And it's that motivation piece of it. So just invite. But when we don't invite, nothing's going to happen. And when you have big wins initially, even if you're helping one person, you're helping 2 people, it's exciting, because when you have those months of not doing anything, the momentum goes spiraling down. And we've all been there. We've all had months that we've helped no one. Like, we know where this goes, but remember how you feel when you started, and remember like what would happen if tomorrow our groups were gone. I always go back to that for people. What happened if our coaching groups was gone, and what happened with our community of our type 1 and our all women's group were gone, and we just said, we're closing up shop and we're done. Think about how that would affect you and why it's important to you, and share and invite people to join, because those are the things you have to get to, like your core of like, why is this important? It's more than that scale, but speak to people, the community, the support, just being healthy and having people to do it with you, like whatever it is. But you have to be taking it off screen. None of our invites ever, our posts ever result in really anything. We have to go behind the scenes and invite them. And if we don't, we're never going to get anywhere. We aren't. But it's really as easy as that. And it's going to be a lot of conversations, and many will say no. And then all of a sudden more will say yes, and then more will say yes, and then more will say yes, and it'll keep going. But you have to start to be able to get those no's and yeses. And PD, personal development, my friends, just keep keep listening, in your pockets of time and things like
Yeah,
that.
and just keep like the thought in your mind, mindset wise, like do not take it personal if it's not the right time, if they say no, if it's not for them. Like sometimes people just don't trust you yet. Sometimes they haven't watched you long enough. You know, they're not ready. They're like going against all their limiting beliefs and why they can't, and it's too hard and all these things, right? Just try and remember not to take it personal, because you want to keep getting out there with that same level of excitement and confidence, talking to people who are ready. And a lot of those people do come around in time. It's just not the right time then.
None of us were ready that first time, right? Not one person on here can probably 100,000% guarantee. Not one of us.
You weren't
Right?
ready.
Imagine if your
What?
coach just said, forget it after that first time. Imagine if she was just like, peace, she's done. Like, she doesn't want this. I'm not going to reach out to her again. Where would you be? Right? Thank God your coach didn't do that and continue to check in or followed up or whatever it is, or just connected in some way, shape, or form. Because that's why you're here. That's why you're a coach right now, is because clearly something benefited you, or you love the way these programs feel, or you love this community. It's the same exact thing. We're not going to give up on people. And even if they're still never ready, we're still not going to give up on them. We'll still be there for them the day that they come, because we're not asking them anything in a bad way. We're just letting them know that we're still here whenever that day comes. And that's all we're doing. But you got to commit to you, and you got to share, and you got to invite, and keep going with that, because you're going to feel so much more comfortable and confident in your conversations. Like, I'm confident now. I was not confident way back when. I spoke out my ass half the time. Sorry, Declan. He's right there. Because I didn't feel confident, but I've gotten to the point that I am. And every single one of us, it gets better. The more conversations we're going, we're like, okay, it's not me, it's them. It's all good. Peace out. Talk to you later. All those things. Just let it ride. But help one person. Help one person a month, the bare bones minimum, guys. Help one, like, we're not asking. I know there's other coaches that are like, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to hit this, you have to hit that. I'm just saying, help one person each month. I mean, because that fuels your fire to want to help more people in general, and whatever it is that you do. But you got, like, don't let that momentum get you down by just like having months of doing nothing. Be there. Reach that person, connect with one person, because when you help one person, even if you help one person every month, that's 12 people's lives you are helping. You are helping just by showing up and taking that step and initiative to invite them. That is huge. That is huge. And that's only going to completely triple fold and, going, the more confident you feel with that. All right. We talk. Sorry, we suck.
I think it was
Not-
helpful though.
Better.
I hope
Usually
so.
we're like an hour and a half usually, so we're
Yeah.
good. Better.
Yeah.
You guys, is this helpful at all? Yes? No? Okay. Let us know, like, in general, and you can shoot your coach or whoever, like, if there are other specific things that you feel like you need help on.
Kelly, what do you think if you'll tag team it with me? If we pin a post in the team page, like the same place we put the SCE post pin, and if you come across a conversation where you're like, I do not know what to say, like, this is an objection, they said this weird thing, like, I don't know how to respond, I don't want to screw this up, just so we can like be in the learning process with you. I feel like I don't always see it if it goes in those message thread, the Facebook messages, because there's like a million messages by the time you get on and look at it. But if it's in the team page and you just screenshot it and you're like, hey, can you tell me how you'd respond to this, and tag Kelly and I in it, like, we're always happy to give you like a couple sentences of like, this is how I'd word it, or this is how I'd say it.
Yeah,
And
tag
maybe
Dana and
that'll be
I
helpful.
both. And then anytime you guys do see that, please, as all of us as leaders, like, chime in too, because I think it's helpful for you guys to see what you would do. And I think it's helpful for everyone just to see different takes.
Yeah.
Because we all have a different approach.
And everybody has the same issues and the same, just in different ways. So the more you learn, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, ladies. Well, thanks for hopping on. I will post a recording tomorrow morning if there's anybody you need to tag in it.
Awesome. I do. People just wrote and were like, you need it. Oh, wait.
Who's
wait.
going to Super Saturday or Super Sunday?
Not this
Robin and
round.
I are.
Yeah, I'm not this round. My best friend was supposed to come and visit and she's in the hospital. So there went that. So I didn't get tickets because I thought she was coming for the first time.
Oh, bummer.
So anyway, all right, guys. Well, I got a picture before, but wait, let me do another one. I know Laura wasn't on this one. She'll be like, what the hell?